Hey there and welcome. So, if you've ever felt like fractions are just a little bit tricky, you have come to the right place. In this quick guide, we're going to break them down into simple, manageable pieces. All right, let's dive in. It all starts with a really simple, real world question. Imagine you've got a pizza and some hungry friends. How do you share it fairly? That simple act of slicing and sharing, that's the whole essence of fractions. You're already a pro at this, you just might not have thought about it in these terms. At its core, every fraction has two key players. The top number, the numerator, tells you how many slices of that pizza you actually have. The bottom number, the denominator, tells you how many slices the pizza was cut into in the first place. The part over the whole. It's really that simple. Now let's get into the different kinds of fractions you're going to see. Understanding their value and how they're sorted is the first step to mastering them. Fractions first get sorted by their value. A proper fraction, like 3/5, is what we usually picture. It's simply less than one whole thing. But with an improper fraction, like 9/4, you've got more slices than one single pizza holds. Think of it as having more than one pizza's worth of slices. So that leads to a pretty natural question. If 9/4 means we have more than a whole, how do we write that in a way that's a little more intuitive? Well, there's a really easy way to express it more clearly. The process is really just simple division. You ask yourself, how many full groups of 4 can you make out of 9? The answer is 2, and that becomes your whole number. The one that's left over, that's the numerator of your new fraction. So 9/4 is really just 2 wholes and 1/4. And this brilliantly illustrates what a mixed number is. It's just that improper fraction presented in a more logical way. Saying 2¼ pizzas is the exact same thing as 9/4, but it's a whole lot clearer. Let's move on to our next section to see how this builds. You see, beyond their value, fractions are also classified by how they relate to each other, which is super important when we start doing math with them. This distinction is simple, but it's crucial. Homogeneous fractions are easy to work with because they're cut the same way. They share a common denominator. Heterogeneous fractions, on the other hand, come from pies cut differently, so they need an extra step before you can combine them. And just to round out our understanding, there are a couple of other handy types. Equivalent fractions look different, but are worth the exact same amount, like how 2/3 is the same as 4/6. And unit fractions are the simplest building blocks, always just one piece of the whole. All right, now for the fun part. Let's put these concepts into action. We're going to start with the most direct operation of them all, multiplication. Let's kick things off with the easiest operation. Multiplying fractions is all about finding a part of a part. The rule is as simple as it gets. Multiply the numerators straight across, and then multiply the denominators straight across. Direct. Done. Now, division. It sometimes gets a reputation for being complicated, but it's really just multiplication in disguise. There's just one simple move you have to make, and then you're back to doing what you already know. The crucial move is this. You take the second fraction in the problem and you flip it upside down. That's called finding its reciprocal. Then you just swap the division sign for a multiplication sign. And look at that. Our division problem has transformed into a simple multiplication problem. We multiply straight across, 3 times 5 and 7 times 2, and we get our answer, 15/14. Easy. Okay, let's tackle addition and subtraction. For these, there's one golden rule you have to remember. You can only add or subtract things that are alike. You need a common denominator. If the denominators are already the same, it's a piece of cake. You just add the top numbers. But if they're different, like trying to add thirds and fourths, you first need to re-slice them into a common size. A simple trick is to multiply the denominators. 3 times 4 gives us 12. After you convert both fractions to twelfths, you can add the numerators like usual. And the best part? Subtraction works the exact same way. You find that common denominator, you adjust the numerators to match, and then you just subtract the top numbers. No new rules to learn. We've covered a lot, so let's end with one final summary slide, your ultimate cheat sheet for working with fractions. Here it is, the 3 golden rules. For adding or subtracting, find that common denominator. For multiplying, just go straight across. And for dividing, you just flip the second one and multiply. If you can remember this table, you can handle any fraction problem. See? Fractions aren't so scary. They're just a language for describing the pieces of our world.
Master these simple rules, and you've built the foundation for everything from adjusting a recipe to understanding market shares. The question isn't if you'll use them, but where you'll use them first. Thanks for joining us.